Christmas Day had arrived at last, and the city of Los Angeles was livelier than ever. No matter where one went, the sounds of joy and celebration were unavoidable. There were carolers singing on every corner, bells ringing through the air, and joyful laughter coming from all the citizens. The holidays were truly tremendous time for everyone. Everyone except the ex-criminal gang, the bad guys. For only the sounds that were emanating from their hideout that morning were coughs, sneezes, and wheezes. The five former felons had laid themselves on the various furniture items in the living room. Dozens of used tissues coated the floor and table, along with several medicine bottles, which some were empty. The TV was switched on to news reports starring none other than LA's top reporter, Tiffany Flufflet. Well, in spite of a series of misfortunes that occurred just yesterday, an unexpected, unpredictable snowstorm included, it looks like Christmas is back on, and while we may not have our beloved Big Nick to ring the season, we've got the next blessing thing, Robo-Claus. The camera panned over to Santa Claus robot entertaining people on the streets. It just goes to show you that Christmas cannot be stopped, even by the naughty list regulars like the bad guys. Will they ever change? The reporter doubts it. Nice going, Wolf, Snake grumbled. Now everyone thinks we're criminals again. Why is that? Because you had to make us look like heroes when all those stupid attempts on saving the holiday. Thanks a lot, buddy, he said, the last word with a hint of bitterness. Wolf slumped in his chair, his arms folded over his chest. Hey, it was for achoo! Good cause, he shivered. Besides, it was kind of our fault anyway. We're the ones who destroyed Big Nick and nearly got Christmas canceled. Well, maybe if you didn't drive like a maniac all the time, that dumb thing wouldn't have to been caught on our car, Tarantula pointed out with a sniffle. I'm sorry, okay? Wolf coughed. I'm used to being pursued by cops. That's more or less instinct at this point. The day prior, during one of their joyrides around LA, the reinformed rascals somehow managed to get the city's beloved Santa balloon stuck on their ride and trying to get it off. They accidentally set the whole thing on fire and crashed it into the building. The townspeople were so distraught by the incident that they didn't even feel like celebrating anymore, and their scorn for the bad guys returned. And all because of a simple mistake. To repair their reputation, Wolf came up with a plan to spread Christmas cheer throughout various means, including having Tarantula reprogram the robot Santa she built the year before to be jolly, which had previously been rather hostile, sneaking presents into people's houses and created artificial snowfalls with an ice machine. Unfortunately, the latter ended up turning into a blizzard, destroying any amount of good will the old crooks appeared to have, well, as everything else. And even though the gangs were eventually managed to stop the storm, the citizens had already drawn the conclusion that their real intentions was to cause any further havoc, and instead of giving praise to Tarantula's Robo-Claus, almost as if they thought it was the real Santa. To add insult to injury, the temporary surge of freezing weather had gotten to the ex-villains to the point where they had all caught bad colds. Not only did everyone still hate them, but they were quarantined in their own hideout, unable to join in the festivals that they helped to bring back. Anyway, try to look on the bright side, Wolf went on. We did save Christmas in the end, right? And what did that get us? Soured a reputation and stuffy noses. Oh yeah, best Christmas ever, Snake coughed. You're just lucky Diane and Sherry are out of town and don't know about any of this, because if they did, they'd probably turn against us too. I don't know if Diane would, Piranha claimed, but I wouldn't worry too much about Sherry, Chico. She literally saw you eat hundreds of her own kind, and she still came to your defense. Choo! Yeah, and she was pretty quick to forgive you after you tried to eat her, Shark added. Yeah, Shark, you really don't have a girlfriend enough credit, Tarantula mentioned. She loves you and you're the only one who doesn't see that. Whatever, Snake recoiled himself under his blanket. I say we just forget the whole thing that's ever happened, and never have anything to do with this idiotic holiday again. Just hearing the word Christmas makes me sick. Chew! The others exchanged amused looks and shrugged. Whether good or bad, Snake would always be Mr. Grumpy Pants. Little did they know that their Christmas blues was about to vanish, for a few blocks away. A limousine was driving towards the bad guys' hideout and was carrying a very special visitor that just happened to be the city's good Samaritan herself, Sherry Marmalade. The giddy guinea pig was settled into the back, surrounded by gift bags, and she had her phone up to her ear. "Oh, Diane, it's simply wonderful, isn't it?" The Fox governor's voice was heard on the other end. "Your parents having a family emergency is wonderful?" "Yes, well, not the whole family emergency part, but everything else is just fantastic. Because you see, with mother and father away, I get the chance to spend the holidays with my sweet little slivery Snaky." She sighed happily. Diane chuckled. "Oh, now I get why you're excited. Of course, this will be our first Christmas together after all, and this will be his first Christmas since he selflessly redeemed himself. It's going to be so magical. I could see it now, the two of us sitting by the roaring fire, his coils wrapped around me, sharing a mug of hot cocoa, and listening to Christmas carols on the radio. How romantic." Diane laughed again. "Sounds like it. So does Snake know you're coming?" "No, I want it to be a surprise. I only wish you could be there too, Diane." "So do I," Diane agreed. "But governors don't really get days off, even for the holidays. There's an NGA conference in a few hours that I've got to fly out for. It won't be fun, but hey, it's part of my job, right?" "I know what you mean. I'm rather fortunate enough to have been given next week to take a break from my own duties. Being a good Samaritan is not as easy as my brother made it to look." "Probably because he wasn't one to begin with," Diane joked. "Oh, listen, I gotta go. We're about to take off. But you have a great Christmas, Sherry. Say hi to the guys for me." "Will do, Diane. Ta-ta." The limo soon pulled up to the bad guy's lair, and the driver stepped out of the vehicle to open the door for Sherry. "Thank you, Charles." She stepped onto his hand and onto the ground. "Absolutely, Miss Marmalade." The driver bowed his head. "And would you mind helping me with those bags as well? I'll be sure to give you an extra big tip." "Yes, Miss Marmalade. Right away, Miss Marmalade." Charles proceeded to pick up every single one of the gift bags in the back seat. Some he had found to be heavier than others. Sherry watched with concern as he struggled to carry them on. Perhaps we should take 2 trips." "Oh, no," Charles refused, forcing a smile. "I've got it, see?" Sherry took a step back as her driver walked ahead, trying his hardest to keep his balance without dropping anything. She then followed him to the elevator that led to the hideout itself. Charles reached out for a wobbling hand and pressed the button to open the doors. "After you, Miss Marmalade," he grunted. "Oh, well, thank you," Sherry acknowledged as she stepped in. The elevator doors shut and carried the two of them up. When the doors reopened, Sherry immediately skipped out while Charles was having trouble taking his first step. "Yoo-hoo!" Sherry called out cheerfully. The bad guys turned their heads at the sound of her voice. "Man, I must be getting delirious," Piranha said, held his hand. "For the second time I thought I heard Sherry calling us." Snake's eyes widened. "Sherry? You can't be delirious because I heard it too," Tarantula said. "So did I," Shark chimed in. "Weird," Wolf coughed. "Either way, we're all sicker than we thought, or really did hear." Sherry came forward. "Hello," she greeted. "Sherry!" The bad guys and Snake cried out. Snake gasped fearfully and quickly buried himself under the blanket out of the rodent's sight. "Special delivery from my favorite good guys," Sherry sang sweetly, gesturing to the presents Charles was holding. Charles then collapsed from exhaustion, scattering the gifts across the floor. "Sherry, what are you doing here?" Wolf inquired. "I thought you went to see your parents." "Oh well, what can I say? Some things just don't turn out as planned, Wolfie. They had something come up, but that doesn't matter, because now I get to be with all of you instead." "Whoa, are those presents for us?" Shark asked excitedly. "Yes, indeed." "All right," Piranha cheered. "Sherry always gives out the best presents." Sherry scooped up all the gifts with ease, much to Charles's shock, and began handing them out. "This one's for you, Wolfie, and this one's for you, Websy, one for Sharky, and one for Prawny, and last but not least," Sherry looked around the room. "Wait a minute, where's my darling Snaky?" The other bad guys were also perplexed. "Huh? That's weird. He was here a second ago. Hermano, your Nova Percosha is here." "Oh, sorry, Sherry, Wolf said. We don't know where he went off to. Oh dear, Sherry worried. Suddenly they were all startled by a sneeze coming from the blanket from the chair across from them. Shark glanced smugly and lifted the blanket up, exposing the grouchy reptile. Found him. Snake sniffled and snarled at the great white. All right, all right. You didn't have to announce it to the whole world. Not like we're playing hide and seek. Snakey, Sherry squealed, wrapping her arms around her boyfriend's neck and squeezing it. Oh, I've missed you so much. Snake gagged. Hi, babe. Good to see you, I guess. Oh, it's wonderful to see you too, Scalykins. She hugged her face to hers. Aw. Shark, piranha, and tarantula cooed at the scene, earning a glare from Snake. I can hardly stand it. Sherry clapped her hands with joy. I didn't even think I would get to see you all at this Christmas, and yet here I am. How delightful is this day going to be, don't you think? Oh yeah, Snake hacked harshly. Real delightful. That's when Sherry got a good look at the serpent of concern etched on her face upon seeing his blurry, bloodshot eyes, pain-tinted nostrils, and the sweaty brow. Oh my! She grabbed him by the cheeks and pulled him closer. Snakey, darling, you look awful. Snake slinked away. Wow, you sure know how to make a guy feel good. He coughed again. Sherry then turned to the others. Come to think of it, you all look awful. What's the matter? It's no big deal, Sherry, Wolf assured her. We're just a teensy bit under the weather, that's all. Yeah, literally, Piranha said, thanks to that snowstorm. Snowstorm? Sherry raised an eyebrow in confusion. In Los Angeles? It's a long story, Tarantula informed her. One that involves Santa balloons, robots with flamethrowers, and a shaved ice machine. And you forgot about the part where Shark lost his shirt, Piranha snickered. Hey, we agree never to speak of that again, Shark yelled. All the bad guys then were overcome with fits of coughing and sneezing, making Sherry wince. Oh, you poor dears. I am terribly sorry to hear you're all unwell, and on Christmas of all days. Yeah, well, we'll live. Snake then began to push her towards the elevator. Anyways, you probably should get going. I'm sure you have got a lot on your plate now, and definitely can't afford to catch this. Sherry stood firm. Heavens no, you five need medical attention. And lucky for you, I happen to be a certified nurse in training, so I can take care of all of you. With my help, you'll be back to your old naughty but nice selves in no time. Snake's expression turned to one of pure terror at the mention of this idea. No way, Shark's eyes lit up. Sherry, the greatest caretaker of all time? You're taking care of us? Tarantula finished giddily. That sounds like the best thing ever. Yeah, and it will be like a sleepover, Piranha claimed, except with snotty tissues everywhere and all of us feeling like we're dying. Would we have to make pillow forts? Shark asked. And watch movies? Tarantula begged. Eat as much ice cream we want until we throw up? Piranha hoped. Oh, Sherry cringed. Well, the last one's a bit much, but why not? So is that a yes? Yes! Shark, Piranha, and Tarantula shouted simultaneously. No! Snake blurted out, earning a confused stares from the others. What I mean is, Sherry, sweet stuff, you shouldn't waste your time dealing with something as little as this, even though some of us may not act like it. We're all grown up enough to look after ourselves. Excuse you, Tarantula was offended. You don't think we act our age? Take that back, Piranha stood up, pointing a finger at the snake. We're like that, like most mature guys, if owie. He then accidentally scraped the side of his finger against the couch. Ow, ow, I think I got a boo-boo. Will somebody kiss it better? Snake facepalmed. Maybe Snake is right, Sherry, Wolf spoke up. It's too much to ask. We wouldn't want to inconvenience you or anything. Sherry scoffed. Nonsense. I won't hear another word about it, Wolfie, and it won't be an inconvenience at all. I am a pretty good cemeterian. It is my job to cater the needs of others. Exactly. Snake went back to pushing his girlfriend out in the door, which is why I'm pretty sure there's plenty of others out there who need your help way more than we do. Think of all those poor little orphan kids that are stuck living on the streets with no food and no place to sleep on Christmas. Sherry thought for a moment. That is a good point. I never forgive myself if I let a single child go hungry. Snake beamed when Sherry walked away, appearing as she was about to leave. Instead, she approached Charles, who was still lying on the floor. Charles? The limo driver immediately stood up. Yes, Miss Marmalade? The guinea pig reached into her purse and pulled out several wads of cash. I need you to go around the city and hand these out to every boy or girl without a home that you see. Oh, and she took out a stack and put it in Charles' hands. And that's for you and your family to spend however you want. She gave him one more, and don't forget your tip. Charles was ecstatic. Yes, Miss Marmalade. Thank you, Miss Marmalade. Have a Merry Christmas. Woohoo! And with that, he took the cash and exited through the elevator. Snake was in disbelief. There, that takes care of it. Sherry dusted off her hands. And now I'm perfectly free to help you all get better. Yay! Piranha, Shark, and Tarantula went. Wolf smiled somewhat. Since, well, you insist. Wait, Snake interrupted with a panicked tone. I know you said your parents are occupied, but you've got to have some other family members that you want to pay them a visit. No, not really. Sherry shook her head. The only immediate family I have besides my parents is my brother, someone I'd rather not give a second thought to. And anyway, you are all just much as family as any of them. Definitely more so than any aforementioned brother whose name I refuse to speak. Well, what about Diane? She's your best friend. I bet she'd like to see you. She's out on a government business. Not sure what sort of business because she didn't specify, but it's clearly business that doesn't involve non-work friends. Well, then maybe you could, Snake stammered. Snakey, Sherry said with a giggle. Honestly, if I didn't know better, I think you didn't want me here. She frowned suddenly. But that can't be the case, right? You do want to spend your first holiday as a good guy with me, don't you? No, I mean, I do, but I. Snake looked over at his friends, all of whom were giving suspicious stares. He then turned back to Sherry, giving him sad eyes, instantly triggering his guilt complex. He sighed. All right, you can stay, I guess. Sherry's grin returned, and she hugged the snake once more. Oh, goody, thank you, Skellykins. She pinched his cheeks. I love you so much. Yeah, I know, Snake sniffled. Sherry let him go. All right, then. You got 5 get comfortable while I fetch some more blankets from the closet. And afterwards, I'll get started on a pot of Grandmother Marmalade's world's famous, zesty, flavorful, not too sweet, not too spicy, feed a cold and starve a fever, homemade cure-all soup. Hopefully that doesn't take as long to make as it say it does, Tarantula whispered to Shark and Piranha. Be right back, Sherry sang before heading off. Man, presents and our own personal nurse? Shark summoned up. This Christmas didn't turn out so bad after all. Yeah, Snake, Wolf occurred. You gotta admit, you're pretty lucky to have a girl like Sherry. Snake slithered back in his chair. Yep. He covered his head with his blanket. Lucky me. Achoo! A few minutes later, Sherry came back with dozens more blankets and evenly distributed them amongst the bad guys. Oh, thanks, Sherry, Wolf acknowledged, sniffling. The others did as well. Yeah, thanks. Gracias, senorita. Much obliged. Sherry nodded as she approached Snake, but still later found buried underneath the blanket he had already. Here you are, Snakey, she said. I bought you an extra thick one. No thanks, the snake replied, without even looking at her. I don't need it. Oh, are you sure? I know how sensitive your scales are a drop in temperature. Wouldn't want that to get you cold. Snake faced her in a confrontal way. I will have you know how I am perfectly content at the moment, and not cold in the slightest. Thank you very much. But you can keep your crummy blanket because I don't have any use for it, and never will, okay? He turned his back to the rodent, doing his best to hide the sudden onset of shivers. Well, suit yourself, I suppose. Sherry stared at the fabric in her hands, feeling a bit hurt, until a loud sneeze coming from the piranha interrupted her feelings of consciousness. Senorita, he sniffled. If Snake's not using that blanket, can I have it? I'm getting hypothermia over here. Snake rolled her eyes. Oh, brother. Of course! Sherry wrapped it around the feverish fish and patted his head sympathetically. Look at you, poor thing. You can't do a thing for yourself in this dreadful condition, can you? Snake gagged at Sherry's baby talk. There, don't worry, Sherry continued. You'll all be better soon before you know it. Good thing I've made a living caring for anyone as weak and helpless as you are. Snake shuddered in disgust at the words weak and helpless. It's true, Piranha whimpered. I am weak and helpless. Me too, Shark sobbed. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. The darkness is closing in. I think I could see my grandpappy smiling down on me. Hang on, Pappy. Your little calf is coming home. Shh, Sherry comforted him. It's all right, I'm here. Just relax now. I'm here. Snake covered his eyes, not wanting to hear any of this. He couldn't tell if those two really believed that they were on the verge of death or they were just being dramatic. Either way, the whole talk of weakness and not being able to do anything was getting to him. Because if Sherry felt that way about others, then she must have thought of the same way of him. But he wasn't weak and helpless, was he? If anything, he was handling the sickness better than all of them. But then, if that was true, then why would Sherry still insist on taking care of him like this? It was only a simple cold after all. She should have had her own by that point. That would have taken a lot more than a case of sniffles to knock on his resilient reptile down. He wasn't a wimp like Piranha or Shark, and he hadn't needed anyone's help to get over his illness in the past, and Kurt certainly wasn't about to accept this anyhow, especially not from his own girlfriend. Like it or not, she would have to come into terms with the fact that he was going to get better on his own, and he was getting better on his own, or at least he kept telling himself that. A while later, the bad guys settled down to watch a movie while eating some homemade soup Sherry had fixed for them. Thanks to her nurturing, the ex-villain's condition was starting to improve, except for Snake's, that is. In fact, the poor python was getting worse by the minute. He shivered profusely. His sinuses were blocked to the point where he couldn't breathe, and to top it off, he had a terrible migraine that he couldn't seem to shake. But there was no way that he would let Sherry or his friends know about his declining health, because they would really start fussing over him. So while the other bad guys had their eyes glued to the TV, he hid himself under the blanket so they couldn't see how miserable he was. "Oh, this is getting good," Shark exclaimed. "I know, right? The suspense is killing me." Piranha sat at the edge of his seat. "Hey, Snake," Tarantula called. "You're missing the best part." "I don't care," Snake mumbled. "But it's a car chase," Shark reminded him. "You love movies with car chases in them." "Did you not hear me? I said I don't care. Now leave me alone." "Come on, Snake," Wolf lectured. "Ever since Sherry came over, all you've done is hide under the blanket." "So what?" "What do you mean, so what? She's your girlfriend, for crying out loud. You can at least act happy that you're happy she's here." "I'll act what I want, furball. Now, for the last time, leave me alone." Wolf shook his head, unimpressed with Snake's attitude. Before he could say anything more, Sherry came in, holding something behind her back. "How is everyone doing?" "Pretty good, thanks for asking, Sherry," Wolf answered. "I think we're all getting better. Well, most of us are." He gave a sideways glance to Snake. "By the way, what soup you made was amazing." "Yeah, it was just like my abuela used to make," Piranha reminiscence, minus the meat chunks and the stinky cheese base. "Well, I hope you don't eat too much because I have a surprise." Sherry revealed what she was holding. Unopened box of push pops. "Oh man, is she awesome or what?" Shark squealed as he accepted one. "Sherry, I don't know if I said this before, but you're the best," Piranha cried out, immediately sticking the frozen treat in his mouth. Sherry chuckled as she gave Wolf and Tarantula theirs. "Well, I try." She approached Snake last. "Snakey!" "What?" Snake snarled. "Look what I've got. A nice big juicy push pop just for you." Snake glared at her. "I don't want it. Go away." Everyone else in the room gasped. "Whoa," Tarantula said. "Snake turning down a push pop? He must be sick." "But Snakey," Sherry stated, "push pops are your favorite. You never said no to one before." She then noticed the bowl beside Snake's chair. Unlike everyone else's, it was still full. "And you haven't touched your soup yet. It's not like you could go without eating." "So, I'm not hungry, big deal. Just drop it already." Snake got up from his seat, his blanket still wrapped around him, and he headed for his bedroom door. "Hey, where are you going, man?" Shark questioned. "To get some peace and quiet," Snake stated bluntly, "and more importantly, to get away from all this mushy, nauseating, caretaking stuff." "Snake," Wolf scolded, "that is no way to treat your girlfriend." "Stay out of it, Wolfie. I'm spending the rest of my miserable holiday in my room, so don't think of any of you think of bothering me. Got it?" He coughed briefly, just as the shouting irritated his already sore throat. Then he slipped to his room, slamming the door behind him. The remaining bad guys still stood in shock. Wow, I'm so sorry, Sherry, Wolf apologized. I don't know what's gotten into him. Sherry was on the verge of tears. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it, she sniffled. Piranha quickly changed the subject. So, if Snake doesn't want his push pop, then Sherry handed it over to him without looking at him. Sweet! Piranha was about to eat it until Shark snatched it away. Hey, no fair! I want to eat it! No way, Chico. I call dibs. Let go. Give it back. It's mine. Tarantula then got it between them. Boys, settle down. We can work something out. I know, hand it to me and I'll split it in half. Shark did so, but as soon as the arachnoid had the push pop in their hands, she bolted. Ha, suckers. Hey, get over here. Free for all. All three of them started brawling on top of each other, each one as determined as the others to devour the dessert on a stick. Wolf, on the other hand, was the only one to actually take notice of Sherry's feelings and was growing concerned for her. He went over to the little guinea pig and knelt down to her height. Hey, you okay? Sherry wiped her eyes. I don't understand. Why is he acting this way? Well, this is Snake we're talking about. He can get pretty nasty when he's sick, you know, so I wouldn't take that personally. But I thought he'd at least be happy to see me. It's our first Christmas together, after all, but so far we haven't really spent any of it together. In fact, this whole time it's just he's been avoiding me. I don't think he wants me around. What? No, Wolf reassured her. I'm sure that's not true. It certainly feels like it. All I want is to take care of him, and he won't even allow it. And now his cold is getting worse. I'm worried about him, Wolfie. Why doesn't he just let me help him? I don't know, honestly. Wolf stood up. Wait, here. I'm gonna try and talk to him. Sherry nodded, wiping away a few tears as she was doing her best to tune out the argument from the others. Can't catch me. Give it here. Hey, no biting. Meanwhile, in Snake's room, the grumpy serpent was on the front of the mirror, glancing at his reflection. His eyes had become red and watery, and his entire face was flustered from fever. He scrubbed his tail under his nose furiously as it wouldn't stop running. Look at you, he said to himself. You're pathetic. You've been on hundreds of dangerous heists, destroy a radioactive, life-threatening meteorite, and even survived a 1,000,000-foot drop out of a helicopter and car explosion to boot. And yet you're letting yourself get tail kicked by that stupid sniffle, and you disgust me. Snap out of it already. You're better than this. You can't let the other guys see you as a wimpy loser who gets taken out of the common cold out of all things. You're not a wimp. You're the toughest member of this team. Which means if you display even the tiniest bit of weakness, it's over. You're not going to let that happen. Especially not in front of him. Am I interrupting something? Snake then jumped back to turn to see Wolf standing in the doorway. Do you ever knock? Oh, sorry, Wolf responded with a small smile. You must have not heard me through the little pep talk you were giving yourself. Either that or the head cold's messing up with your hearing along with everything else. I wish. Then I wouldn't have to listen to your smart remarks. Why are you here anyway? Sherry wouldn't want you up and about while you're deathly ill. Wolf rolled his eyes. I appreciate your concern, but I'm doing better, which is more than I can say for you. Shows you that... No, then. I'm not... Because I'm not sick at all anymore. I feel totally... Achoo! Snake sniffled. Fine. Wolf smirked. Sure you do. Speaking of Sherry, I've been talking with her. She's actually pretty worried about you, you know? Yeah, well, tell her to knock it off. Why can't you just tell her yourself? She's your girlfriend. Then again, I'm not too sure if she's considering how you've been treating her lately. I'm sorry, but did I ask for your relationship advice? I didn't think so. Snake turned to his back as best he could. Wolf sighed. Look, all I'm saying is if you have let her at least take care of you in the beginning, you probably wouldn't feel as bad as you do now. Snake snorted back, some mucus dripping out of his nose. Shut up, No, you're not fine, Snake. You're making yourself sicker and sicker, and all Sherry wants to do is help you get better. But no, you won't even let her see you, let alone take care of you. Honestly, what is it about her being here that bothers you? I don't have a problem with her being here, Snake insisted. Well, then what then? What is it, the fact that she's looking after the rest of us and you don't want to share her attention? No, I actually prefer if she focused solely on you guys and didn't pay attention to me at all. You know how I feel about other people taking care of me. I don't let anybody do it. Not even Sherry? especially not Sherry. But why, Snake? Out of all people, I would have thought Sherry would be the one exception to your whole nobody is allowed to nurse me rule. What's the problem? Tell me. I don't have to tell you nothing. Now get out. It's just a simple question. Why are you being so stubborn? I said get out. Not until you answer me. What is so wrong with allowing your own girlfriend to look after you while you're sick? Snake finally snapped. Because she's my girlfriend, all right? Wolf paused. Wait, what is that supposed to mean? Exactly what I said. She's the girlfriend and I'm the boyfriend. Okay, so as the boyfriend, I'm the one who's supposed to look out for her, not the other way around. A good boyfriend needs to be strong, brave, dependable, willing to do anything to protect the one he loves. Sherry thinks I'm all those things, and I'm practically her hero, and I want to keep thinking I am. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Which is why, as it hurts both of us, I can't let her take care of me. You saw how she was with the other guys. She thinks they're weak for letting her help them out. If I did the same, she'd think I was weak too. That's why I've been avoiding her the whole time, because I know how worried she is about me and how much she wants me to help get better. But I can't let her, Wolf. Not if she wants to keep her seeing me as a big, strong, and fearless hero. Wolf took a moment to process Snake's words. Snake, I get you're worried about Sherry's opinion on of you. I do too, but I somehow doubt that she'll change the way she feels about you just because you needed her help. She cares a lot about you, and the way I see it, relationships are a two-way street. It shouldn't be your one partner's job to do the specific thing for the other. It should be shared responsibly. Heck, if Diane were here, I'd let her take care of me, so why can't Sherry do the same for you? Snake huffed. I shouldn't have expected you to get it. Everyone knows Diane is the only one who wears pants in the relationship, and given how it's always her that even gets you out of trouble, you'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere if she wasn't around to save your hind constantly. Hey, that's not always her that saves me, Wolf argued. What about that time? No, wait, she did save me then. Okay, but then there was... No, she saved me then too. Wait, I got it. When we were... Oh, no, that was her. Snake shook his head. I rest my case. No, wait, hold on. Let me think for a second. There's gonna be snuffing. Snakey! Sherry's voice called from the hallway. She's coming, Snake worried. I gotta hide. He ducked under the bed and pointed his tail at the wolf. Don't even think about saying anything to her, you hear me? Sherry pushed open the door before she could see Snake hiding. Oh, Wolfie, she let herself in. Is Snakey here? I heard an awful lot of shouting. Wolf debated whether he should tell Sherry where Snake was or not, but he didn't have to. Achoo! A sneeze came from under the bed. Wolf had to do his best to keep from laughing. Sherry lifted off his bed sheets and saw her boyfriend's tail sticking out from under them. She pulled them out and hugged him tightly. Snakey, there you are! Snake gave Wolf an accusatory glare, but only Wolf smiled and smugly shrugged as if to say, I didn't say anything. How are you feeling, Scaly Tickins? Sherry cooed. Snake escaped her grasp. Never better. His answer was immediately followed by a series of deep throat coughs. Oh my, Sherry patted him on the back just as a soothing manner. You're even paler than the last time you molted, and I don't think I like the sound of that cough. It's nothing, the Snake sniffled. Just breathed in some dust from under the bed. Don't worry about it. He continued his coughing right as Shark, Tarantula, and Piranha made themselves known. Hey, what's going on? Whoa, geez, Snake, what's wrong with you? Yeah, you look like my cousin when he eats too much 5-alarm chili. I'm Snake hacked. Fine. Right, Tarantula continued. Anyway, Sherry, do you have any more of those push pops? Piranha dropped the one we had on the floor and it got covered in carpet lint. He ate it anyway, Shark added. Piranha just shrugged. Hey, 5-second roll, chickos. I never let my food go to waste. No, I'm afraid that was the only box I found in the freezer, Sherry said while still patting Snake's back. I have to go to the store and buy more, unfortunately. That may have to wait. I can't leave my darling Snakey in this. I simply must tend to him right away. Snake was finally having stopped coughing and moved away from her. Don't be ridiculous, Cher. You don't have to do anything for me. Unlike those crybabies over there, I could take care of myself. Hey, who are you calling crybaby? Piranha retorted. Why has he gotta be so mean? Shark wailed. But Snaky, Sherry began, I've been caring for the others all day and they've received lots of my attention already. You, on the other hand, haven't gotten any. Good, because the less attention I get, the better I say, Snake stated. You can go back to nurturing everyone else, because I don't need any help whatsoever, okay? But there must be something I can. I said no, Snake shouted, then looked away from the rodent right and she started to cry again. Oh, it's all right then. I understand. As Sherry slowly walked away from Snake, Wolf stood deep in thought. He could tell that Snake needed Sherry's care more than anything now, but from the looks of it, Snake wasn't going to be so quick to comply. At the same time, Sherry was dying to spend time with Snake, and it broke Wolf's heart to learn she probably wasn't going to at this point. The way it seemed, the couple would be spending the rest of Christmas apart from one another. Wolf can't let that happen. He wouldn't let that happen. Sherry needed Snake's time, and Snake needed to learn that he can't keep pushing his girlfriend away like that. It was then the canine decided he would take matters in his own hands. He would make sure Snake and Sherry got their time together, even if he had to force the former to it. He held a paw out, blocking Sherry's exit. Actually, Sherry, I don't think we'll be needing anything else from you. Huh? Sherry went, confused. The others were as well. Wait, what? What's he talking about? Beats me. Wolf kept going. Yeah, you've done such a great job taking care of us. I'd say we all well enough to do stuff for ourselves again, right guys? He winked, allowing Shark and Tarantula to notice the twinkle in his eyes. Oh, yeah, like we're totally better now. Yep, it's all good, Piranha scoffed. You Chicos could speak for yourselves. I want my push pops. Ow! Tarantula smacked him. I mean, yeah, what they said. Oh, are you sure? Sherry asked. I wouldn't want the rest of you to feel abandoned. Well, since you mentioned it, Piranha got his mouth shut by Wolf. We're positive, he said. We'll probably just spend the rest of the night sleeping this off anyway. We should be fine in the morning, and Snake needs you way more than any of us do. Snake tried to say, No, I don't, but he ended up sneezing instead. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I didn't realize that cold are fatal to reptiles. Wolf questioned the others. What? Snake and Sherry cried out. Wolf grinned. As much as he hated the lion to a sweet thing like Sherry, he knew it was for her and Snake's own good. Yeah, I remember now. Apparently, if you let a snake with a cold remain untreated for too long, it can lead to deadly consequences. Sherry gasped horrified. Wolf, you rotten little... Snake started, but it was interrupted by more coughing. No, not my Snakey, Sherry bawled. Wolf slinked over to the wall where the thermostat was and lowered it to a significant amount. Well, luckily he seems to still be in the early stages, but when its shivering starts you should worry. Sherry, don't listen to him. Snake felt a chill run through his body. Sheesh, why is it for freezing in here all of a sudden? Oh no, Sherry panicked. It's already started. Yikes, that's not a good sign. Next thing you know, he's gonna have stripes all over his body. Wolf nudged Tarantula, prompting her to crawl behind Snake and draw red stripes on the scales with permanent marker while Sherry wasn't looking. Hey, knock it off! Snake hissed. Sherry turned around and became horrified at the sight. Goodness gracious! That happened too! Oh boy, then it probably won't be long before he literally starts sneezing his scales off, Wolf hinted to Shark and Piranha. The bigger fish shredded a golden brown piece of paper and spreaded the pieces over Snake's body. Then the smaller fish produced a feather tickle to the serpent's nose. Achoo! The sneeze then took off bits of the paper. Heavens! It's worse than I thought, Sherry feared. Wolf began to count his fingers. Let's see, shivering, stripes, sneezes off scales. It's pretty serious, alright, but the good news is he hasn't hit the fatal stage yet. Sherry protectively latched onto Snake. Final stage? What's that? To put it simply, they'll start seeing things out there. You know, hallucinations. Shark and Piranha and Tarantula snuck away for a brief moment. Oh my! Sherry pulled Snake's face closer to hers. Snakey, are you seeing anything now? No, Snake replied. And I'm not going to because you're all making this stuff up. Piranha and Shark reappeared behind Sherry, dressed in ballerina tutus. Tarantula sat on Shark's head and on her lemur onesie. Please just tell me what you're seeing, Sherry pleaded. Fine. If I do realize how ridiculous it is, okay, I see you. I see Wolf giving me a smug, know-it-all grin. And I see... He paused, rubbing his eyes in disbelief. Shark and Piranha doing ballet? Wait, hold on. Is that... Tarantula jumped off a shark and floated down on a miniature parachute. A tiny blue lemur with 8 legs hovering in the air? Oh no! Sherry began crying to Snake's shirt. He's gone completely mental! My poor Snakey! Why must bad things always happen to the ones I love? Why? What? No, I swear, I'm not hallucinating anything. Turn around, see for yourself. Sherry looked behind her, but Piranha, Shark, and Tarantula were already back in their previous attire. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, floating lemur? That's just weird. Like I've ever been caught dead in a tutu, Hermano. Snake's jaw dropped. But that's... You were all just... I saw you there was... Oh, listen to him, Sherry sobbed. How could he even form coherent sentences? Wah! Snake then scowled and his friend shot him winning smiles. Oh, Wolfie, Sherry sniveled. I don't want to lose my Snakey. Please tell me there's something I can do for him. Oh, please, oh, please. Well, the way I see it, there's only one possible way you can save him now, Wolf informed her. Anything. I'll do anything, Sherry begged, while unintentionally choking Snake with a hug. All you have to do is keep him warm in his room, make sure he doesn't get out of bed, and most importantly, give him as much tender and loving care as you possibly can. If you do all that, he should be on the road to recovery soon enough. I can do that, and I can and I will. Don't worry, Snakey. From this moment on, I'm going to stay by your side every minute, and I won't stop until you're absolutely, positively 100% better. I promise. The rest of the bad guys snickered as Snake growled at them. You guys are going to pay for this. Shark started for his own room, Tarantula riding on his shoulder. Piranha followed them, clutching onto his leotard. Well, time to catch some Z's. You two have fun. Hasta la vista, amantes. Wolf grabbed the doorknob and gave Snake one last mischievous smirk. There you go, buddy. She's all yours. He shut the door, whether you like it or not. Wolf, get back here, Snake shouted hoarsely. I know you're behind this. When I get my coils on you, I'm gonna... Wah! His fret was interrupted by Sherry, grabbing him by the tail and dragging him away from the door. Shh, now. It's all right, Scalykins. Let's get you to bed, Snake sighed, not even wanting to bother picking up a fight. Before long, Sherry had put him to bed, covering his whole body with all the blankets and woolly articles of clothing he could find, thus preventing him from escaping. After that, she gathered up dozens more supplies, including tissues, a first aid kit, and a humidifier to hopefully help with the python's congestion. Sherry climbed onto the bed and tucked the remaining corner of the sheets around Snake's neck. There, that should do it. Ugh, Snake moaned. Now let's get that throat check of yours. Open up and say ah. Snake didn't even get a chance to argue because Sherry forced open his mouth and stuck her head inside. Oh yes, just as I thought. She clamped his mouth shut. Ow, Snake rubbed his cheek. Your throat is terribly inflamed. I could tell by the deep red color. Well, how do you know it's not always like that? Sherry chuckled. Snakey, if there's anyone who knows what's inside your mouth normally is like, it's me, remember? Oh, you just had to bring that up, didn't ya? Snake coughed. Sherry ran her hand across Snake's back, feeling how warm his skin was. Shh, you have a fever, my love. That's a good cemeterian reached down on the other side of the bed to retrieve an old pack. Once she found one, she set it down on her boyfriend's head, making him shiver slightly. That's it. Now is there anything else I can do for my sweet, scaly, shivery, and sniffly little baby? Snake winced on how Sherry spoke to him. No, you've done enough. He ducked under the covers. You can go now. Oh, no. Sherry pulled him out and jabbed the thermometer in his mouth. You heard what Wolfie says. I have to stay with you all night or else you'll never get better. Snake spat out the instrument. Wolfie doesn't know what he's talking about. He ain't no doctor. Regardless of his medical professionalism or lack of, therefore, I am choosing to stay. It's clear to me that you're not going to get over that cold by yourself. On the contrary, I can handle any virus that comes in my way myself, as in alone, as in with nobody else. Solo without assistance. Under my own steam. Just me, myself, and I. Get the picture? He laid down, his back facing Sherry. She only giggled. How silly. Would you prefer suffering through the illness by themselves to being pampered and nurtured by a loving partner? Really, Snakey, you're such a joker. Now then, can I get you anything? Perhaps a nice cup of tea? I'll let you put in all the sugar you want. No, Snake declined. Well then, how about a hot water bottle? Goodness knows we can't have you getting a chill. No, Snake said again, shoving his face in the pillow. Throat launcher? No. Mustard plaster? No. Nasal spray? No. Ibuprofen? Snake became fed up. No, 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 no! I don't want you to get me anything. I don't want you to take my temperature or wipe my nose or coddle me like I'm some 3-year-old. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need nobody. You hear me? Nobody. I just want to be left alone. I can take care of myself and that's it. End of story. Do you understand? Snake panted heavily, staring straight into Sherry's eyes. I said immediately began to swell up with tears. Snake was taken aback by her bawling. I knew it, Sherry wailed. You don't want me here. You never wanted me here. This was supposed to be our first Christmas together. I pictured the entire thing in my head, and you and I were going to snuggle by the fire, exchange presents, and say how much we love each other over and over. And even when I learned that you were ill, we all couldn't do things exactly like that. I didn't mind because I thought we would still find a way to spend the holidays together. But at the moment we got that chance, you go and tell me I've been nothing but like a burden this entire time. You think I'm annoying? You can't even stand to be near me. Snake's face softened up, seeing her lover so upset. He gently patted her on the back. Hey, come on now, don't cry. But you said you wanted to be alone. That means you don't want to spend Christmas with me. No, I never said that. You didn't have to. I could read between the lines. Okay, I'm sorry, Snake sighed. I shouldn't have snapped at you like that, alright? I didn't realize it was going to hurt your feelings. Sherry nodded, still sobbing, still listened as Snake went on. And for what it's worth, I do what you want here. In fact, I am glad that all the people in the world I get to spend the holiday with you. You're not a burden. You could never be a burden to me, and don't even think otherwise. Believe me, the last thing you ever want to do is make ya feel unwanted. Sherry sniffled, having to be calmed down by Snake's words, but he wasn't done. Listen, Sherry, I think it's time I told you the truth. The truth? The truth about what? Snake took a breath. Ever since we started dating, I've been letting ya say a little self-conscious self about me. You've always seemed to see me as a hero, even back when I was still a villain. I'm still getting used to the whole good guys routine, but if there's one thing I have learned about heroes, it's that they are supposed to be strong, tough guys who always look out for their loved ones. For the longest time, that's how I wanted you to see me, but as this cold has taken a lot out of me lately. And well, I was afraid if I let you see me like this and take care of me, then you'd realize I'm not as strong as you think I am, and I wouldn't want to be your hero anymore. Sherry gave Snake a blank look. Snakey, you honestly believe that I would think less of you because of a respiratory infection? That's how you feel, right? Of course not. What on earth gave you that ridiculous idea? Snake blushed. Well, I saw how you acted with the other guys and you called them weak and helpless and stuff like that. Sherry smirked while shaking her head. Come on now, Scalykins, I was only humoring them. They were being rather dramatic after all. Oh, yeah. I could never think of you that way, Snakey. Certainly not because you needed me to take care of you. I've always believed that relationships are a two-way street. It shouldn't be one partner's job to do a specific thing for the other. It should be shared responsibly. Snake beamed, remembering what Wolf told him the same thing. You know, maybe you're right. Guess I still got just as much as to learn about being a good boyfriend as I do about being a hero. Sherry caressed his head. You are already a fantastic boyfriend, darling, and no matter what happens, you'll always be my big, strong, scaly hero, alright? Snake nodded. Good. Now will you please stop being so stubborn and let me look after you, lovey wolvie? Snake groaned. If you promise to stop talking that sickeningly sweet tone. Sherry booped him on the nose. Deal. Snake smiled and then the two embraced. their love for one another even stronger than before. Sherry spent the next few hours nursing Snake in a way she could, like she was trying to do before. Only this time Snake allowed her to do it, and to his surprise, he actually enjoyed every minute of being in her care. When it came to treating colds, his girlfriend was a pro. She could only handle anything from a spoon-feeding soup to a regularly body temperature to a resetting humidifier. But even though Snake didn't mind, and secretly loved, Sherry doing things for him at that point, he still didn't think much of her because of her presence alone made him feel better. In fact, at the time night fell, Snake was feeling well enough to recap the gang's attempt at saving Christmas to Sherry. Hee 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 hee, oh my word, she said when Snake finished. That is quite a story. A robot Santa Claus? How quaint. Yep, luckily for us, Webb's is a tentacle genius. Those flamethrowers she equipped made a real work of all the leftover snow. Yeah, well, I can't wait to tell Diane when she gets back from her business meeting. I'm sure she'll get a kick out of that too, and perhaps the two of us could put in a good word about you and the others. Honestly, the townspeople are too quick to judge around here. They should be all praising you for the high heavens for your notable efforts. Who cares what they think? Snake grumbled. Let them have their celebration without us. Christmas is overrated anyways. Bah, humbug. Chew! Sherry giggled and passed him a tissue. Goodness, maybe we should call you Ebenezer Scrooge. Snake blew his nose. Ha ha, very funny, babe. Sherry gave the serpent a quick kiss on the cheek. Oh, that reminds me. I'll be right back. Snake watched with curiosity as the guinea pig sprinted out of the room. A minute later, she returned with a gift bag. The others opened theirs already, she said, sat in the bag down on the bed. But it's not too late. Christmas isn't over yet. Ah, Cher, you shouldn't have got me anything, Snake croaked. You have been here is good enough. Just open it, you silly goose. Snake stuck his tail in the bag and dug through the tissue paper, and he felt something at the bottom and pulled out. His eyes widened upon seeing what he was holding, a deep blue gemstone that was about the size of a 3 grand and carat diamond. No way, but this looks just like the Cumberland sapphire? Sherry answered for him. That's because it is, or rather a replica of the real one. Try tasting it. Snake gave it a lick. The jewel had a surprisingly sweet yet a somewhat tart flavor to it that reminded him of raspberries. Whoa! I asked Chief Luggins to make it, the same way she made Marshall Ruby like you gave for me for my birthday, Sherry explained. She owed me a favor. I don't know what to say, Snake stammered. Oh, the flavor is not to your liking? I thought about requesting something like more exotic like lychee or guava, but I wasn't sure if those would be shipped in time for... No, Snake pressed his tail against her cheek. It's perfect, babe. I love it. Thanks a lot. I only wish I had a present to give you. Nonsense, Sherry stroked his tail. You're the only gift I need, Snakey, and the greatest gift I could ever receive, too. Aw, thanks, sweet stuff. You're a real prize yourself. At that moment, Snake began to yawn, and Sherry realized how late it had gotten. She knew that if Snake was going to get well, he needed sleep and lots of it. She lifted up the comforter and draped it over her exhausted boyfriend. Get some rest, darling. You should feel better in the morning. She pressed a kiss on his forehead and then jumped down to head for the door. Snake sat up. Wait! Sherry turned to look at him. Actually, I was thinking. The reptile struggled to find the right words. If it's not too much of an issue, that is. If you don't mind, maybe you could stay with me tonight? He gave her an embarrassed smile. Stay with you? Sherry repeated with a playful grin of her own. Why would I do that? You're a grown-up, and you don't need me to watch over you while you sleep. Snake facepalmed. You're right. Forget I asked. It was stupid of me to think. Sherry laughed all of a sudden. I'm teasing, Snakey. Of course I'll stay with you tonight. Snake scooted over, allowing Sherry to slide into the bed next to him. Once they were both settled in, Snake rested his head on Sherry's arms, and his half eyes closed. She ran a gentle, soothing hand along his neck. Sweet dreams, my handsome prince. Snake didn't reply, for he was already fast asleep, and it wasn't long before Sherry had dozed off too, snuggled up against him. The next morning, Snake was awoken to the sound of what looked like Piranha and Shark laughing and fooling around outside of his room. Annoyed, he sat up and rubbed his head, which made him surprised to learn he was no longer aching. He took a breath through his nose and found that it was not nearly as stuffed up as the day before. From the looks of it, his cold was running its course, and it was all thanks to his loving girlfriend. Snake looked to his left and saw that Sherry was still sleeping. Her normally neat and tidy hair looked like a bird's nest, and her mouth was hung open, releasing tiny bits of drool onto her pillow. Snake laughed to himself. Could she get any cuter? He thought. The reptile stroked the rodent's forehead, stirring her awake. What, Snakey? Hey, mornin', Sleeping Beauty. Didn't mean to wake ya. Sherry rubbed her eyes. Oh no, it's fine. I would have gotten up in a few minutes anyway. Yeah, you're probably right, especially since my personal alarm clock seems to be gone off a bit early. He gestured to the door, obviously referring to the ruckus his teammates were making. Sherry giggled. I suppose they are a bit loud, aren't they? You don't know the half of it, Snake sighed. The door to his room burst open, and Snake and Piranha leapt out onto the bed. Hermanos, wake up, wake up, wake up! It's Christmas! Snake rolled his eyes. You idiots! Christmas was yesterday! Yeah, but yesterday we were too sick to come into your room to do our yearly tradition of rudely waking you up and telling you it's Christmas, Shark said, smiling. Better late than never, amigo, Piranha beamed, repeatedly bouncing on the bed. Snake pinched his forehead. The things I put up with, I swear. Now, Snakey, Sherry whispered patiently. Let them have a little fun. Wolf and Tarantula entered the room. Hey there, lovebirds, Tarantula greeted. Snake, how you feeling, buddy? Wolf asked. A lot better, actually. Snake approached Wolf. Sherry wrapped around his coils. But it helps when you've got an amazing, adorable nurse looking out for you. Sherry smiled and blushed. Oh, it was nothing, Skellykins, just an act of love. I must say, though, you are looking better. All of you are, in fact. Heck yeah, we're unstoppable, baby, Shark boasted. No dumb cold can keep us down for long, Piranha's fist pumped. You know it, Tarantula agreed. But let's try not to get another one for a while. Normal viruses are so much harder to cure than computer viruses, after all. I'll second that, Snake chuckled. And Wolf, you were right. It takes a strong boyfriend to help his partner in any way he can. It takes a stronger one to accept his partner's help, even when he doesn't think he needs it. Sherry leaned up against him, batting her eyelashes in a flattered way. Good for you, pal, Wolf commented. So does this mean you're not going to bite my head off in my sleep? I'll think about it. What do you say we all go out and celebrate our good health, huh? Great idea, Wolf exclaimed. Who's up for some nice, cool, and refreshing cups of shaved ice on me? No, the rest of the bad guys yelled. Kidding, Wolf smiled sheepishly. Just as Snake was about to lecture the canine about never using the word ice again, he was unintentionally cut off by Sherry. Achoo! The guinea pig sneezed, making all the bad guys gasp. Oh no, not again, Wolf worried. Nice going, Piranha, Tarantula scolded. You got Sherry sick. Me? Piranha pointed a finger at Shark. Shark's the one who sneezed on her. Only after Webbs coughed in her face, Shark claimed. Nuh-uh, it was you, Tarantula accused Piranha. Was not, Piranha spat. Was too. Stop it, you guys, Snake interrupted. If anyone's to blame, it's me. I asked Sherry to stay beside me the whole night. It's my fault she's sick now. Sherry sniffled, putting a hand on Snake's back. Oh, Snakey, it was worth every germ. She began to cough, prompting Snake to hold her closer, a sympathetic frown forming on his face. Wolf watched them both, also getting concerned for Sherry. She was going to need a caretaker of her own now, and he knew exactly who she wanted the most. Christmas may have been over, but that didn't mean Sherry's time with Snake had been too. All Wolf had to do was convince the others to give the couple their space. Hey guys, he spoke playfully. If Sherry's sick, the least we can do is make her soup, right? Tarantula caught on immediately. Oh, you are right, Wolfie. It is too bad we don't have the stuff to make it. I know, Shark suggested in a mocking tone. Let us all go to the sports store and buy everything we need to make soup. Sounds like a good idea, don't you agree, Piranha? Piranha stared at them blankly. What are you guys talking like that? What are you, you're robots or something? He gasped. Have you all been replaced by evil cyborgs bent over taking that word? Snake nodded his head. You guys can drop the act and just go. I'll take it from here. Yeah, good enough for me, Tarantula stepped out. See ya, Sherry. Feel better, Shark called out, following Tarantula. You guys never answered me. Piranha chased after them both. You never said no, so you are robots? What have you done with my friends, you rust buckets? Wolf made his exit as well. We'll leave you crazy kids alone. Snake was offended. Who are you calling a kid? I'm older than all of you. Another sneeze from Sherry snapped the python back into focus. He chuckled and she rubbed over the cute little button nose. Okay, Cindy Lou at who? Back to bed. As soon as Sherry was back under the covers, Snake slithered off into the kitchen to make her favorite tea. A few minutes later, he was back at her side, steaming a cup in her hand. How are you feeling, sweet stuff? He asked, giving her the cup. Sherry took a few small sips. Not very well, but I feel a bit better knowing you're here with me. He started to shiver. To Snake, she wrapped his entire body around her to warm her up. She coughed again and he rubbed her back. I'm really sorry, Cher, he sighed. I feel like I'm the worst boyfriend ever. Sherry gasped in her throat and she cough subsided. Why would you think that? Are you kidding? You spent the entire Christmas helping me get better and you give me a really nice present to boot. Meanwhile, the only thing I gave you is a lousy cold. Snaky, Sherry put his tail in her hands. Listen to me. I wouldn't mind if you gave me the plague if it meant I got to spend Christmas with you. Snake was somewhat baffled by his response. Really? Sherry nodded. Wow, that's insane, Snake said flatly. Really insane. Do you want to know how insane that sounds? We're completely bonkers, she smiled. No wonder why I like you so much. Sherry laughed and then nuzzled her head to Snake's, allowing them to share each other's warmth. Merry Christmas, babe. Merry Christmas, Scalykins. And that, my pretties, was Festive Fever, a bad guy's Christmas fan fiction written by Corneyforever. Now, this story was made, last year, so my final thoughts on this story, I definitely do have to say this is actually a pretty good story. I personally really enjoyed this a whole lot. I thought it was really neat and well done. Now, I haven't seen Bad Guys in a while, so I kind of wonder about, what is it going to be about again. I still need to, watch that movie again. But I definitely do need to sit here and say is that I thought this was a really sweet movie, and well, not a movie, but a pretty good story. Basically, the concept of Snake getting and the others getting sick, and Snake doesn't want to show that he's being a bad boyfriend or a burden to his girlfriend, and yeah, I mean it is a good fan fiction. I personally really enjoyed it. Like it's kind of gonna something because I could see this being happening in Bad Guys, and I haven't seen Bad Guys in a really long time, so I'm gonna have to watch this movie again. But it's a really good story. So to the author of this story, you did a pretty good job. I personally really enjoyed reading this. This one was just such a really good story. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. Like, it's a really, just amazing, And the fact that Snake, finally allows Sherry, the guinea pig, to help him get better, yeah, that's actually pretty nice that he eventually gives in and lets her take care of him at the end, which I really do have to say, I mean, it's pretty nice. But I really do have to sit here and say is that, yeah, it's no fun being sick, for the holidays. Because I remember I was sick for the holidays one year. But that was back when I was in high school, and that was like years back. So yeah, I mean, being sick on Christmas is no fun. I can definitely guarantee you that now. It is definitely not very fun. But I personally do have to really say that the grammar is good of the story. Same with the sentence structuring, the storyline. It's just a really good Christmas story. I personally really enjoyed this. I thought this was pretty amazing. So, yeah. And I definitely do have to really say that if you guys have not seen Bad Guys yet, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a pretty good movie. I mean, I have not seen the second movie yet, but I do plan to hopefully see the second movie in the future. So there's that I'm looking forward to. But as always, I personally really enjoyed this story, and like I'm always going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these stories. This is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 10 out of 10. Really fantastic, really well done. It's definitely a pretty good story, and I could definitely easily recommend this to anybody who is, into bad guys and, wants a good Christmas story and stuff like that. So I'll leave a link in the description for any of you guys who want to check out this story, and I definitely recommend they check it out if you're a narrator. So, yeah. As always, what do you guys all think of this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to 20 uploads. That way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, if you guys want to go follow me on Blue Sky, follow me on Twitter, follow me on DeviantArt, and follow me on my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, as links to those will be in the About page section, so you guys can go follow me on those. And that's pretty much all I have to really say, but if I'm missing something, please let me know. And I hope you guys all have a good Christmas wherever you're at. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. I will be uploading more videos, before Christmas. But, the day I'm recording this is on the 21st. So, yeah. So, as always, I will be seeing you guys all in the next video. Peace out. And like always, roll the outro because I'm out.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.